Please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. 7 Most Common Mistakes in Decision Making. Are you too much of a perfectionist? Do you overestimate your abilities? Do you trust intuition too much? Are you overpowered by past decisions, even if they've been proven to be flawed? 7 mistakes we all make, so that we may learn to stop tripping over the same stones repeatedly. 1. Holding out for the perfect decision. Striving for perfection in our decisions adds unnecessary pressure and often leads to analysis paralysis. No one likes to be wrong, but we must shake our fear and accept that decision-making means taking risks. Sometimes we'll get it right, other times we won't. Mistakes are a part of learning. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed, boasts Michael Jordan, arguably the best basketball player of all time. 2. Failing to face reality. We tend to see things as we would like them to be, confusing wishful thinking with reality. For example, 75% of drivers think they are above average behind the wheel, which is statistically impossible. Faced with a situation, we tend to take a stance and may fail to see beyond it, ignoring what might be better options out there. Furthermore, we tend to magnify the positive aspects of our stance and minimize the negative ones. One good way to avoid this bias is to try and distinguish facts, objective, from opinions, subjective. 3. Falling for self-deceptions. The way we are presented with a situation, and the way we present it to ourselves, affects our final decisions. For example, when some cancer patients were told that the survival rate 1 year after a surgery was 68%, a significant percentage opted for that surgery. Meanwhile, when others were told that 32% of patients die within a year of the operation, no one elected to undergo it. The same information was given, just presented in a different way. To avoid falling prey to self-deceptions, it is important to seek alternatives and consider them from different angles. Finally, sleep on it before making the decision. 4. Going with the flow. There is something worse than being wrong. Being the only one who is wrong. Doing what everyone else does is easier and, more importantly, may save us from embarrassment. Hence our tendency to follow the herd, even if it is heading to a precipice. We saw this with the dot-com bubble, for example. Everyone wanted to invest in tech companies when the bubble was inflating, even when most investors knew little about them. The problem with imitation, and not thinking before deciding, is that we eliminate the possibility of finding wiser alternatives than what is fashionable. 5. Rushing and risking too much. Before deciding hastily, we should consider whether a decision is truly urgent. We tend to rush into things, crossing things off our list to feel accomplished. But all we're really doing in a rush is taking unnecessary risks. For example, the Chernobyl disaster was caused by an unnecessary test that simulated a power failure at the nuclear power plant. By going through the motions for security testing, the outcome was exactly what they sought to avoid. The reactor exploded. There was no urgent need to run that test, but it happened anyway, risking far too much. 6. Relying too heavily on intuition. Intuition can be an asset, but when we allow it to outweigh analytical thinking, it leads to mistakes. What's more, testing our hunches with low-cost experiments is important. The authors offer Samsung chairman Lee Kun-hee as a cautionary tale. In the 1990s, he reportedly decided to get into automobile manufacturing because he sensed the market would take off in Asia. The project resulted in a loss of $2 billion and 50,000 layoffs. 7. Being married to our own ideas. It's hard for us to change a prior decision, even if keeping the status quo is clearly inefficient or harmful. The year 2003 saw the grounding of the Concorde, a supersonic jet airliner that was never profitable. But it took a fatal accident, with over 100 fatalities, to put it into permanent retirement. Economically speaking, the right decision should have been made long before then, but that meant acknowledging a failure. And no one likes doing that.